The story starts off in Silverton, South Africa, where a man walks into a bank and terrorized bankers along with his friends. He gave warning shots and demanded people to get down. However, he announces it wasn't a bank robbery. The story then goes back a day earlier what unfolded the event. Calvin Khumalo, Tara Mabunda, and Aldo Erasmus are anti-apartheid freedom fighters from Umkhonto weSizwe, whose power plant sabotage attempt in the capital suburb of Silverton was foiled when local police were warned off. After the freedom fighters felt it was a setup, they took off and flee, resulting to a chase. Forced to abandon the task, they flee to Silverton. They end up on foot when Tara's partner Masego and the van's tires are shot. They ran to a sewage. They exit the sewage tunnels via a manhole. After a foot chase and exchange of gunfire, they ran for cover, looking for any kind of way to evade the police. When they are discovered and surrounded by the police, they flee to a central bank. Khumalo addresses the bank's customers and staff, clarifying that they are not robbing it and requesting that they comply peacefully so that no one is hurt. Christine, the bank supervisor, demonstrates both helpfulness and sympathy. Outside, Captain Langerman completely identifies the three and calls out their name. Also stated someone in their crew snitched on them about their plans. But Khumalo requests a helicopter with an unarmed pilot and indicate that one of the bank's customers is American, meaning he will bulala him if he doesn't get his request. However, because the American is also black, they ultimately choose for a tall white boar. Upon the trio going to the helicopter, Aldo hesitates as he realizes it is too easy. The pilot takes out a concealed pistol, which Khumalo disarms, and everyone returns to the bank. After Khumalo discovers a wire on the pilot chest, he destroys it, then later found a black-white supremacist tattoo. Little Crocodile arrives to take over the operational command from the brigadier. They were summoned because Christine is the justice minister's daughter. Calvin chooses to create a movement since he believes it is their last chance to make an influence. He requests that Nelson Mandela be publicly pardoned and released. They have the American boxing promoter light a large cart of money for the cameras, and Calvin begins chanting, "Free Nelson Mandela." When Aldo follows the pilot to the toilets, he is faced with being exposed as the mole, aka Snitch. He stabs him to death, then whacks his own skull on a sink to make it look like self-defense. Calvin discovers them on the floor, and they both conceal the pilot's body so that his death is not discovered. The racist Boer Johan takes out a hidden revolver and threatens to overthrow the freedom fighters. He's shot indiscriminately, hitting Tara in the arm. Calvin cuffs Johan when the handgun runs out of ammunition. He reminds his comrades that there won't be no civilian casualties. Christine bandages Tara's bullet wound and informs Calvin that she did not leave when she could because she wanted to help. The mulatto woman disappears out the back. After discovering the pilot's body, she confronts Calvin. He explains that it happened in self-defense and they discuss race. Calvin notices she is black, attempting to pass as white. She discusses the challenges she has encountered. They both dissolve and return to the group. After they burn another pile of money, the captain hands Calvin a letter purportedly pardoning Mandela. In exchange, he requests to visit the hostages. He sees Christine and encourages her to leave, but she refuses again. Tara kills Aldo after the captain tells her his name is Langerman. He was the only one of the three who remembered his name. Both grieve the loss of their comrade as Tara cries over Aldo's lifeless body. Calvin goes to the bathroom as Christine follows him in, and he is distraught. She explains that she was reared by a black nanny after her mother died young. Christine also stated she learned to be prejudice-free by watching her racist, domineering father, then swore not to emulate him. Following Christine's second refusal to leave, the brigadier is authorized to dispatch the SWAT team. Before they can, she shouts for Mandela's release and a sniper shoots her. She succumbs to her wound, and the mulatto woman takes off her blonde wig. She hugs Tara in support and continues her talk with Calvin. The mulatto woman stated her mother gave her up for adoption to her white employers, who loved her but never understood. Calvin gave a testament about his parents were shot murdered when he was a child, and he has committed his life to avenging them. Calvin receives a call from the captain about the impending SWAT team raid that he has no control of, but informs everyone that Mandela will be free. Knowing that there is a pending SWAT raid, he released the hostages to avoid casualties. When first batch of SWAT team came to enter the building, they were met with explosion. The SWAT team entered the building and it became a gun battle. Calvin and Tara held their own throughout the first SWAT attack. They reloaded their guns with a purpose, then prepared for the next SWAT attack. They walked towards a direction, taking the fight to them. At the end, both will go down in the firefight. The Silverton Siege spurred the Free Nelson Mandela campaign, which eventually resulted in his release 10 years later. Mandela became the first black South African president. Thanks for watching. Give a like or subscribe to this channel if you like recaps like this.